Tips with Tony. Tips with Tony. All about nutrition from your favorite dietitian. Everything you need to digest in your mind. Tips with Tony. Tips with Tony. Making you healthier one bite at a time. With Tony. Woo.
Hello and welcome to the Tips with Tony podcast. I'm Tony Marinucci, your registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time. All right, so I get a lot of questions about purchasing ready prepared meals. Maybe you have a meal prep service in your area. Maybe you've been wondering if you should buy frozen meals that are already done for you. Even some supermarkets have like a ready prepared meals section for you to just kind of heat and eat. There's a lot more coming. There's a lot more on the market. I know I live in New York, so there's a ton around here. Depending on where you live, you might have more options than others. But to be honest, I've sifted through a lot of them, and I haven't really found one that I'm 100% like, yes, this is it, except for one that I'm going to share with you at the end. But it's taken me a while to kind of find that, and I'm going to explain to you why. But before I do that, I kind of want to just kind of remind you that cooking from home is always going to be the most affordable way. So if you're looking for an affordable way, cooking from home is always the answer. Every single time. Also, knowing what you put in your food is really important when you cook from home, and also saving time if you can get it down to a science. So if you're not part of my Healthy Livings Foundation course, this episode is probably actually going out right around the time where I'm about to launch it. So meal prep basics is module number 5 of the Healthy Livings Foundation course. And I actually talk about how it's not as time consuming as you think. Meal prep, if you learn how to do it appropriately and right, the way I teach it in the course, is actually not as time consuming as you think. With that being said, you do still have to buy your groceries, you still have to cook them, and you still have to clean. And everybody who knows me knows I hate cleaning. So that's where ready prepared meals are super convenient, right? Super convenient. And so I'm going to teach you guys how, if you're not cooking from home, which is okay, there's a fine balance for it, or if you finally find a meal prep service that you like, then, and you're okay with spending a little bit more than you would if you were to kind of go to the grocery store, at the end of the day, I truly believe time is money, and time is what I value over everything and anything. It's why I invest in coaches to help get me to the forefront and to, do all the things that I want to do in life. It's like, I understand I'm making a big investment, but I'm also saving a ton of time, and there will be a return on that investment. So I truly believe that time is the most valuable thing that you can have, and no amount of money can really you can't put a dollar to that amount. So with that being said, I know that if I'm buying a ready prepared meal, that means I have more time to do my work. I have more time to spend time with my loved ones. I have more time to relax, get some R&R, go for a walk. Like, it's one less thing that I have to do on the list of my priorities. So for me, it seems like really great to have the nice balance between getting like meal prep service and then also like cooking from home sometimes, and like then I can be more fun, I can be more creative in the kitchen because I'm not pressured to like, I just have to get this out, so it needs to be prepared. So that's kind of why I believe that it's okay to, like, I like having like the meal prep service where it's something that I can trust, and I'll teach you what that is in a minute. But that's kind of the background behind it. So obviously we're all busy, we're all stressed out, we're all pressed for time. We have a lot of people to take care of. So if you have a family of 4, maybe your husband eats one way, you eat another way, your kids eat another way. So that's another reason why maybe being able to just pull something out of the freezer or out of the refrigerator, just heat it and eat it while you prepare for your kids or your family members, it's a lot easier to do. Ordering in and ordering out is convenient. We know that. But for whatever reason, people choose to eat foods that are unhealthy when they do that. They associate ordering out or ordering in with having to choose something unhealthy, which we know there's plenty of healthy options, even at a Chinese restaurant. If you do steamed chicken or steamed shrimp, with vegetables and the sauce on the side, and like maybe like a miso soup or something like that. Like, there's plenty of ways to eat healthy when you order in and order out from restaurants. But for whatever reason, we feel like we have to get the lo mein, we have to get the General Chow's chicken, like whatever it is, and like we don't know how to balance it. We have to have tons of rice. We can't get brown rice. We have to get fried rice. But like, we know that we have choices. But that's for another day. This episode, I really wanted to talk about the fact that, like, even if you were to choose healthy options, and the unfortunate part of it is the healthy options, although it doesn't cost the company more money to produce it because they know you want healthier, usually to get brown rice, it's $1 upcharge. To get a side of vegetables, they charge you more. And when it comes down to it, then you end up getting, say, a salad from a restaurant that's really nice, really balanced. Maybe there's some salmon on top, maybe some mango, maybe some almonds, balsamic vinaigrette on the side, and it's a really great salad. But it costs you $20 just to get it in. So that's where it comes to, this whole perception of like fast and easy and cheap is unhealthy, which realistically it doesn't have to be if we know how to order the right things and if we take our nutrition a little bit more seriously. So now what I've explored, like there's a lot of services out there where they have like those things like Blue Apron, I think Purple Carrot, like they have some services where you get a box, it comes with a recipe, and then you cook it, which is great, and that way you don't waste and it just gives you what you need. But I find like those meals are not necessarily healthy or balanced. And also, I'm someone with a gluten sensitivity. I eat dairy, I just don't eat too much of it. So I kept finding like there wasn't a lot for me to select from. And then realistically, like I was spending like, I think it was like $60 a week for like 3 meals of something that I just didn't feel like I was getting. I still had to cook it. Like, so it's fun if you're new to the kitchen, if you want to explore, if it's still cheaper than going out to a restaurant. So it's like, that's where it's convenient. But if you're really looking for something to just like heat and eat, so you can get back to your day and like continue on, then you want to find something that's going to be nutritionally well balanced, that's going to mimic what you would prepare at home. That's the ideal, right? It's just basically you want to save the time and the energy, but you want it to feel and taste and be just as nutritionally balanced if you were to kind of make it yourself. So there are some products out there, but it's just, I found it was very difficult depending on if you have specific food preferences. It could be really challenging to find. So a couple things I just wanted to mention is sometimes they're very high in sodium. So what is high in sodium? So realistically, even something like 400 milligrams or more for a meal is high in sodium. But if you're going to compare the difference between like ordering out to eat and then like everything else, I would say less than 600 milligrams is what I believe is like American, the USDA standards for like when it comes to like takeout and stuff like that. So we would want the meal to be under 600 milligrams of sodium. Someone with high blood pressure, that's still very, very high. So it's definitely something to consider. Is that still less than the Chinese restaurant, the Chinese food? Absolutely. So it's always about comparing it to what you're usually getting. But you want to try to find sodium, the sodium of the whole meal to be under 600 milligrams. Okay. You want it to have at least 20 grams of protein. And I've noticed that a lot of those ready prepared meals have way too much sodium and way too little protein, and they also tend to lack lots of their non-starchy vegetables. So it might have vegetables in it, but the vegetables might be things like corn and peas and beans, which is totally fine, but you're not getting enough of things like broccoli and cauliflower, and then it seems so small. It's such a little amount, and then you're like, you just ate, which they also tend to be over like 500 calories, so you just ate like 600 calories, 600 milligrams of sodium, you barely got any protein, and you didn't get any vegetables, and you're still hungry. So that's where they're not as convenient, because sometimes you need 2 of them, and then you're not really saving time or money or anything like that. So what I would recommend, if you do have something that kind of fits that characteristic, where it is under the 600 milligrams of sodium, it's at least 20 grams of protein, around 500 calories, but yet it still looks really small and maybe there's not enough vegetables, I would encourage you to maybe get a steamable bag out of your freezer, like the steamable vegetable bags, and maybe like add some like broccoli and cauliflower to it and kind of spice it up a bit. And honestly, see if you can stretch it even. If it's actually something that maybe it's like 700 calories and you want to kind of break it down and make it into 2 meals, you could totally do that. You could also add something like if it doesn't have enough protein, you could add like an egg to it. But like then it comes into you're doing more work for the purpose of convenience. So that's something to consider. Hello, I'm interrupting this podcast with a special offer for you. So excited because there is a new platform out there for you, for anybody that is looking to lose weight and wants to work out but doesn't know what workouts to follow. Maybe you're afraid of going to the gym, you have a little gym intimidation, you don't know what to do with the weight racks, and you don't know what to do with the equipment. Well, don't worry, I have a solution for you. I have partnered up with WLWorkouts.com. So you go to WLWorkouts.com, discount code Tony10 to get 10% off a 4-week or 12-week workout plan. And it comes with a whole guide as well as YouTube videos to show you how to use the equipment. It's mostly strength training. So if you're new to weights, particularly for the ladies, I would strongly encourage it. It's a great jumpstart for the year. Pretty positive they're on sale now for about $20 or less for the 4-week, and the 12-week, I believe, is like $24. I know that that's not the usual price, but there's a special for January. So I will just say that the special, it does expire. This using the discount code. This is only a promo for January. So I just pulled up the site right now, actually. I should have probably did that before. So usually the price of the 4-week or 12-week workout plan is around $65, but it's a special right now for the month of January. It's only $19.61, so it's about $20 in US, and you get 10% off when you use discount code Tony10. So it's definitely worth it especially if you're new to working out, but even if you're not, I totally am going to take this to the gym with me to supplement the other workouts that I do. But if you want, obviously, you're going to get the most out of it by following it from the beginning till the end, and also obviously making sure you're paying attention to your nutrition. So if you need help with that, let me know. All right, guys. Now back to your regularly scheduled program. Also, like I was saying earlier, sometimes it might be difficult, although there are some out there that are completely all dedicated to being gluten-free and dairy-free, and that's great. But then there's other things that are, and there's some that are just like dedicated to just being plant-based or just being vegan or vegetarian, which is great. But I want you guys to be clear that like gluten-free, dairy-free, plant-based, vegan, vegetarian, it doesn't necessarily mean that the dish is healthier. So that's what I think is a big misconception, is a lot of people are like, oh, that's the better option. Not necessarily, because those options might be really high in fat, really high in salt, really high in sugar, lacking enough protein, not well balanced. So just because it fits your preferences, that's the first step. Right? So like me, I'm gluten sensitive. If I eat gluten, I'm bloated, I have a headache, I'm just like a miserable person for like 3 or 4 days. So I just avoid it, right? Someone who's dairy free, if they have a little dairy, they're in the toilet, so it's like not worth it. So like whether it's healthy or not, if they're allergic or sensitive to it, it's just not even like an option, right? Or somebody values, I just released that podcast about things to consider before going vegan. If someone's vegan, it might be great. It might be vegan, but it could also easily be like they don't use any plant-based proteins. There's not even like vegetables. Maybe it's just like a pasta dish. Not that pasta's bad, but if it's not balanced, then it might not necessarily be something that you want to have on a regular basis. So these can be, if you're going to choose to have it like occasionally, honestly, it's probably better than some things you get at a restaurant. But if you're trying to like have it like almost like on a regular basis to really save you a chunk of time, then you want to find a meal prep service that you can trust. So I do apologize because I actually have an option for you guys, but it's really only for those who live in New Jersey, New York, and Connecticut. However, if you do live in a different state, send me a message, email me, tipswithtony@gmail.com, and I'd be happy to look over. Maybe you have a service near you that can deliver. Actually, I just realized something, because I have a client who, she just transferred over to using the meal prep services for nutrition from Rockbody, which I'm going to talk to you guys about. But she actually she lives in New York, and she ordered in from a place in California, and I can't remember the name of it, but I'm pretty positive like they will mail it to you. But that service was a little bit more money, so that's the only thing. So this is a lot more affordable, which is why she switched. Also, it was faster. It's a lot faster to travel from New York to New York than from across the country. Okay. So anyways, if you do live in New York, New Jersey, or Connecticut, then you are going to want to go to Rock Body Cafe in New Rochelle. So they're actually a restaurant. You can like go sit there and eat food, but they have a whole meal prep service. So they do cater to the bodybuilding community or anybody that's doing like a bikini competition or a prep type of show. But then they also just have like your everyday average person, just, you know, who wants to, like, maybe you track your macros, or maybe you just want food on hand, or whatever it is, and you just want to save time. Like, that's all you want to do. You want to save time. You don't want to have to think about it. You already know the foods that you like, and it's just so much easier for you to just have it on hand. Or maybe you're someone who does order out a lot and you want to save money, because really when you look at it, all the money that you're spending out going out to eat, ordering in, last minute impromptu decisions, you're going to save a lot more money when you actually buy these meals up front and use my discount code TipsWithTony10 to get 10% off. And it's not just 10% off your first order, it's 10% off every single order. Every time you order at least 10 meals from them, that's what considers a meal prep. And they go. And honestly, if I go through them, I get 10 every single week. But if there was, like, last week it was the holidays, and I knew I wasn't going to go through, like, a couple. I didn't think I was going to go through them, so I threw some in the freezer, and then I ended up, like, going through it anyway, because they're that convenient, and it's just, like, one less thing to worry about. So I love their service because you can, like I was saying earlier about all those preferences, you can say, I'm gluten-free, I'm dairy-free, I'm vegan, I'm plant-based, I'm vegetarian, I want to have this many grams of protein with it, I want it to have this many grams of carbohydrates, I want it to have this much fat. You can literally modify it however you want, which is like so amazing. And they either have like a clean eating, when I don't really like that word clean because we know that like food is not dirty, but just so you understand, clean meaning no salt added. And then they have lightly seasoned. So then they have like a lightly salted. So I go with lightly salted. Number one, I have very low blood pressure, and if I don't salt my food, I faint. Number two, it does give it a little bit of flavor. With that being said, it's not as much sodium as a lot of the other meal prep services that are out there. They're also, like, I don't know if you guys like care about those who are in New York, or New Jersey or Connecticut, like, super local, and these guys, I've met with them, and I'm pretty positive that this is just the beginning to a really awesome partnership. Like, just really good energy. Like, I like to give my services to people that I trust, that I believe are like doing really great things in the world, and like they're just really, really good people. So I definitely think it's worth a try. Give it a try. I will put the link in the show notes, but if you're not already following them on Instagram, they're on Instagram. It's Rock Body Cafe. I'm so bad with names. It's so funny. I keep calling them Rock Body Fit. I think it's Rock Body Fitness Cafe. But either way, if you type in Rock Body Meal Prep in New Rochelle, New York, it'll pop up. You can go through their menu. They have a ton of different options, even breakfast. Like, I tend to just do like lunch and dinner meals, but you guys also know that I tend to eat, if you don't already know this, I tend to eat like lunch and dinner meals for breakfast because that's just how I am. And like my snacks might be like oatmeal or like cereal or, more breakfast type things. But so I go with more of like the savory dishes, but they even have, protein pancakes, and they have eggs, and like, honestly, they have so many great options. I would totally encourage you to go there. Like I said, use discount code TipsWithTony10. If you have any additional questions, send me an email, tipswithtony@gmail.com. If I didn't already wish you guys a happy and healthy New Year, Happy New Year. I'm so grateful to continue to be able to provide you guys some value. If you have suggestions for future episodes, email me, tipswithtony@gmail.com. If you're not already following me on Instagram, at tips_with_Tony. There's also the Tips with Tony podcast page. I have the Healthy Livings Foundation support group. So many great things coming down the line. pretty soon I'll be doing another episode about my Healthy Living Foundation course, which I'm so excited. It's going to be so great for you. For anybody that feels like they want to work with me, but maybe they know it is a financial commitment and financial investment to do my one-on-one coaching program, although so worth it. I've never had a client not be successful. I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty much loving my clients right now. They're making my heart like smile with joy. But anyways, the Healthy Living Foundation course is just as awesome. I've had a couple people go through the pre-launch. So keep your eyes, ears open for when that comes out, because you're going to get so much value out of it. Like I said, there's just the one module, meal prep basics, but there's actually 8 of them. So just for that one module, I think you guys should do it because it's so awesome and so great. But yeah, so if you're not already subscribed to the podcast, please subscribe. A new episode comes out every Monday and every Wednesday. And as always, you're listening to Tony Marinucci, your registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time.